be or not to be, that's the question. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Put your hearts up and your hands out. Feel the vibes of the earth coming out. Get your feet out in the dirt between your toes. Get the stinky stinks moving up inside your nose. Put your hearts up and your hands out. Listen, Mother Nature's coming out. She's out, she's out, she's out, she's out. She's out, she's out, she's out. Get your brains out of their rudimentary traction. Seek a better upper mental satisfaction. Get your brains out of their rudimentary traction. Just a better upper mental satisfaction. To be or not to be, I repeat the question. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. With your hearts up and your hands out. Now can you feel the power coming out? Feel the vibes up and spread them around. Here are the beats and grooves that make you shake your ass around. Put your hearts up and your hands out. She ain't your baby if she's starting to pout. She ain't if she likes to pout. She ain't if she likes to pout. She ain't your baby if she likes to pout. If she likes to pout. She ain't your baby if she likes to pout. To be or not to be, that's the question. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. To be or not to be, that's the question. Can you hear the funky groove that I mention? To be or not to be, that's the question. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. To be or not to be, that's the question. Can you hear the funky groove that I mention? To be or not to be, it ought to be a question. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Put your hearts up and your hands out. Feel the vibes of the earth coming out. Get your feet out in the dirt between your toes. Get the stanky stinks moving up inside your nose. Put your hearts up and your hands out. Feel the, feel the, feel the.
Hello, g'day, mob. Wrong stream for that greeting. Greetings for my OnlyFans. But what I mean is, hi everybody, how's it going? Nearly didn't even stream today, but here we are. Look at us in all of our glory. How is everyone? How are you, Joel? Arctic Breeze.
I'm Arctic Breeze, baby. I'm smooth. I'm cold as ice. Yeah, what's going on, dude? What are you doing?
Well, apparently that's why we've got not Arctic Breeze, but I believe Antarctic Breeze is one of the reasons they're giving us as to why we've got strangely cold weather for this time of year, right up and down the east coast of Australia and down around some of the south coast as well.
You have the freakishly cold.
Yeah, it's like 25, 24 degrees Celsius today. It's the middle of December, nearly Christmas. It should be in the 30s by now, but not that I'm wishing that, because a cool Christmas is much better than a stinking hot Christmas.
Right.
So I'll take the cooler weather any day of the December. But I'm glad the accepted terminology has changed from global warming to climate change, because it stops me making the silly joke of global warming, global cooling, more like it. But it's changing. Climate's changing. Doesn't mean we're all getting hotter all of the time. Some people are going to get alternative options like excess cooling.
Right.
And we've just got to put up with it. Hang on, I'm going to mute myself for a second.
He's got to mute himself. He's got to mute himself while he coughs into his kerchief over there.
Just to clear the sinuses a bit. I could feel them filling up and, pardon me, apparently no one else can hear the difference of the timbre of my voice, but inside my head it just sounds silly. So, I change it for my own benefit and nobody else's. So let's do that standard old silly go through the chat and say hello to people. And look at Patty's petite tanks. Wow. Yeah, Patty, you've had buckets of kudos before. It's not your first, but well done. Well done you for making it. James H, hello. Sky Dancer, hello. Huawei, love you too. There's the camera up there. I always look at the screen instead of the camera for that personal contact. Who else have we got? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Huawei got his shirt today. Nice, legendary work, Huawei. I'll have to go and have a look at that at some stage. Maybe pop a link in the chat that we can all go and look at it. GRB, g'day, mate. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, look out. I was going to say, we're only going to have a few commenters in the chat today, and then my chat just filled up with a whole bunch of extra Cat Mackenzies and Soul Takers and just those two. G'day, you two. How's it going? Oh, yeah. Well, you're not getting the Antarctic breezes over that side of the country, obviously, are you, GRB? 36. Warm, bro. Two Dougs, how's it going? Gaffer, how are you? Well, I'll get onto that in a minute, Gaffer, because it's been quite a hectic morning. Earthquake. Oh, wow, and the chat just jumped again. BJ Palmer, how are you?
You have an earthquake?
Right. No, two Dougs. 6.4, just north of here. I'm not sure where two Dougs are, both of them.
On the Victor scale.
The Victor, that's a lawnmower down here. Victor. I don't know if you have that brand over there, but that's also the name of the miniature horse in the back paddock. He's called Victor because, he's low to the ground and he cuts the grass off. I like a good comedy name for a horse. Always makes them much more tolerable creatures.
It's pretty strong.
And they obviously didn't have to dig too deep into their creativity to create it, I guess. Oh, nice, Huawei. Good stuff. So what's been going on over there?
Oh, it's a blizzard. We've got snow everywhere.
An actual blizzard.
We've got a wizard blizzard. A wizard. A wizard blizzard.
So is that when you get a blizzard, apart from crazy Australians trying to drive to work, do you just lock up inside or do you have a go and get out and try and battle it?
Do we do what?
Well, you were telling me earlier about some crazy Australian lunatic.
Oh,
trying to drive around in the snow to see if he could get to work.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. He was like driving around all crazy in the parking lot out at work. And we're kind of like, what are you doing? We didn't like yell at him like, what are you doing or anything, but it was like, what's this guy up to? What's he doing? And he like pops his head out and apparently the manager knows who he is, so he's kind of talking to him for a second. He's like, yeah, I'm out here trying to figure out if I can drive in the snow, if I can make it to work, kind of stuff. And it's like, why don't you just drive to work then, if that's what you're trying to do, like, then just drive there instead of driving here, But pretty interesting, I'll be honest.
But generally, if you got blizzard situations going on, people just stay indoors and don't try and get to work. Yeah.
Sort of 50-50. Really kind of depends on
your
the vehicle, the person, the vehicle, how motivated they are to get to work or not.
How much they give a stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it sounds like an ideal day to just sit inside and not go to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people would take that attitude, right? Like, it's like, well, it's just not worth it trying to make it to work, right? So, a lot of people will just stay home instead,
Well, I mean, it'd be super easy to justify it because you're thinking of the health and safety of every other motorist on the road and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be an extra spanner in the works of creating problems for other people. Yeah, that's how humans all think, right?
Yeah, supposedly, right?
Supposedly.
Supposedly that's how they all think, right? But
Guess a sec. I'm just muting myself again.
are you muted still? He's still muted. Okay, he's muted hard. He's out there with the hard mute on, going strong. We don't know why. We don't know why the mute's happening. He's having a private conversation with somebody. Meanwhile, I don't know where my chat window went. Do I have a chat window? I had one open. I don't know where it went. It went somewhere.
There's the unmute button. Yes, sorry about that. We've put my dad got out of hospital today, but they were not very willing to release him from hospital back to home while he's still requiring fairly mammoth levels of care. And we had some respite beds available for both mum and dad in a retirement home or a caring facility, whatever you call them over there, an old people's home. So we've got 2 weeks for them over there, and that was what we were doing this morning and lunchtime and stuff. We'd taken mum and dad, well, the hospital actually delivered dad to the nursing home, and we took my sister and I, that was who I was just having a conversation with, because we're trying to sort out all of the stuff that normally they have happen here at home, like physio and podiatry, stuff like that. We're trying to get them rearranged so that the physio and podiatrist can go and visit them in the nursing home and still do the regular stuff that they do. So,
right.
Fingers crossed we can get that sorted out. They've come back and said, well, they're in a care facility now. They don't need the things that we provide. And it's like, but they do. They kind of do. So, yeah. Got it. So yeah, we're still a process of working shit out since they've only just gone in today, but at least mum and dad are back together. They've both been missing each other terribly. Dad is still, g'day Skipper, how are you? Dad's a bit pissed off that they're in separate rooms, but obviously nursing home rooms aren't as big as hotel rooms and stuff, so you can't necessarily have a double or a queen size bed in a nursing home room and then have enough access around the bed for wheelie walkers and walking frames, that kind of mobility equipment that they both rely on. So Dad's a bit pissed off that he doesn't get to share a bed with mum at night. But, there's no bedtimes in old people's homes. They can sit up all night and watch TV together and go and sleep in their own separate beds and get up and do it all again the next day.
Yeah.
So it'll. I mean, he's been in hospital for 5 or 6 weeks now. So we were kind of thinking that he's just going to be relieved and happy to be out of hospital. But unfortunately, the man will find anything to gripe and moan about. So fingers crossed he settles in within a few days and stops moaning and griping about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I only have so many fingers I can cross.
In the
But
meantime,
neither. Yeah, they neither of them really get out much. I mean, Mum does a little bit. She goes out with one of her carers and, go out for coffee or whatnot, or a bunch of other elderly ladies and stuff, and they get together and just, gas bag like what old ladies do. Mum gets out and does a bit of that, but Dad doesn't. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest benefits they get from being in a home, even if it is for a short while. Is
right?
They know probably most of the people up in that joint, so they'll be able to hang out and chat with people and catch up and all of that good stuff that they've been missing out on. So we think it's going to be good. And I mean, even though it's Christmas time, we've still got to work out what we're going to do around Christmas Day and Boxing Day. How we manage that, whether we just go and visit them up there for Christmas Day, and then when there's more people here on Boxing Day, we bring them out here. It's all in the pipelines and in the works, but hopefully it goes good. And it's fantastic, to say the least, just to get Dad out of hospital, because he's had the COVID, so no one could take him around for walks or anything. And that's pretty much what he needs, is to be using his legs and get himself mobile again. So hasn't been doing the exercise. We're hoping that he'll be able to get a shit ton of exercise done up there and strengthen himself enough so that he can come home.
Right.
Fingers
That'd
crossed.
Be good. Fingers crossed.
And
I mean,
toes too.
hopefully. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I know that like nobody wants to go to a care facility for sure, right? But like maybe there's a strong benefit there to like people actively being like, hey, you got to exercise now. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that.
Yeah.
We got to do these things and see if we can get back up on your feet or whatever, however you want to put it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a tough road for him, but he's got to spin his mind around a bit and just be willing to put the bloody work in. But yeah, that's, he's like I said, he's been sat in a hospital for 6 weeks doing bugger all.
Right.
So it's going to be a switch needs to go off to say, all right, if I want to go home, I got to put the work in. But I'm not 100% convinced that he's got the drive anymore to actually do the work required.
Right.
G'day, Joel G, Fishy Mon, and Adele. How are you, love? Long time no see. Hey, did I miss anyone else? I don't think I did. I think I've been a very attentive chat lover today. So, yeah, fingers crossed. That's all we can do at the moment, and hope that his mindset picks up and gets a desire. If he really wants to come home, he's got to put the work in. And no one's going to be able to do the work for him. He's got to do it himself. But yeah, his memory's completely gone to shit. Forgets what you've told him 5 minutes ago. So yeah, like a teenager, Huawei. I think you made that comment before. He's got that short-term memory loss of a stoner, and yeah, he's got some dementia stuff coming on, so he's not processing and thinking properly about stuff in general. And then he gets, when he doesn't understand stuff, he gets a little bit belligerent and wants to arc up at people and stuff. So yeah, me and my sister copped a bit of shit earlier today because he doesn't have a double bed to share with Mum and stuff. So, that's our fault, instead of him actually just being able to sit back and process that the reason for that is primarily safety, and that they're only, they're a door apart. They're basically next door neighbours. So yeah, I guess I'll find out a little bit more tomorrow when I take some more stuff up and visit with them to see how the first night was and whatnot. I would imagine that I'll probably also hear some crappy stories as well. G'day, Jen. How's it going? Gen U. Not Gen Y, not Gen X, not the millennials. Gen U. Sorry, I didn't mute myself for that one. But yeah, I think Mum's going to have a great time up there because she's going to know a bunch of people, and they do activities all day long and stuff. So she's going to be keen as to go and, you know, play bingo and sing-alongs and all that stuff that they do. And if Dad tries to stop her doing it, then she's just got to go, no, I'm going. If you want to be with me, you come with me.
Right.
Yeah, well, that new local Austin, g'day, by the way. I was pretty much just saying that in a conversation I was having not long ago that potentially because he is a belligerent, stuck in his ways old man, it may take him that full 2 weeks to settle in before he actually becomes willing to do things. But I think we may, like if things aren't going so great for him regarding his recovery, I think we do have the facility to stretch it out a little bit longer. Time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in the brief time we're probably up there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, pretty much everyone, even the staff there, you know, they all knew who Mum and Dad were, and Mum and Dad knew who they were. So, you know, they're in a good place because they're going to know. They're not all strangers like in the hospital where they don't know anyone at all, sort of thing. All these people in there are locals, whether they're workers or inmates. Inmates, that doesn't sound right, does it? Residents.
Inmates.
I think I'll stick with the residents up there. Yeah, they're you know, they're going to know a bunch of people, but they've got to make the effort to get out and mingle and have some bloody fun. Hopefully.
Yeah. Get out and mingle.
So mingle. Yeah, I didn't
mingle with the other singles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much the reason why I didn't know whether I was going to even be able to stream today, because I didn't know how long we'd be up there for. Didn't know if I'd come back, and we got back and Sarah was here and we sat around chatting for a while before I actually went, oh, that's right, it's Wednesday. I probably should set up and do a stream. So I did. Here we are. Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Sounds like something in reverse. Yeah, inmates is probably a little bit harsh. He was more of an inmate when he was in hospital, Adele, because he felt very, very confined. And, you know, had occasional stories about nurses that weren't very kind. A bit gruff, but, you know, the way my dad speaks to people, I can understand why a nurse might be a little bit snippy at him and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He has no doesn't get like social cues and stuff, so doesn't understand some things you shouldn't say out loud, or doesn't know when people are giving him cues as to, oh, you might be being a bit rude, maybe shut up, sort of thing. So yeah, it just all comes out without a filter. Fun time.
Minus the filter.
Yeah, very, very, very minus the filter sometimes. I still remember we were eating out at a restaurant one time. We'd eaten there multiple times, and there's a particular waitress at this restaurant. This is going back quite a few years now, and quite often we'd go in there, and this particular lady would make mistakes with multiple things in our orders and stuff. And one day she'd done it, and I said to the table in general, oh my God, that lady is such a muppet.
Mm-hmm.
And, just as a general comment, and people were like, yep, I think you're right there. And
Yep.
then the next time the ladies returned to the table to bring the next meal out or whatever she was doing, cleaning up or something, and Dad grabs her by the arm and he says, did you know you're a muppet?
Did you know?
He's obviously got no concept of that as a derogatory term or something. He probably doesn't even know who Jim Henson's Muppets are. But yeah, that was a little bit embarrassing with him doing that. G'day Ball Space. Yeah, that was at the club. Because I mean, definitely she could have assumed it came from me, but there was multiple people at the table that could have made such a derogatory comment, but he just didn't even process that it was a derogatory comment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was at the club in Mullum when I can't even remember what it was called, with the red writing, some Italian name, I think, but they sold not much Italian food.
Oh, yeah.
It's all just basic club grub. Zach's in a COVID household right now.
Yeah.
Which is going to be good fun for Christmas because, I think after your time there, Zach, after. I can't even remember what they changed the name to. So, yeah, Zach is obviously the son of my sister, who's supposed to be coming for Christmas, and then Zach's sister goes and gets COVID, so they've got COVID going through their house. We confirmed last night that Gary got it as well. You did, didn't you? Or was I dreaming that bit? Anyway. So I suggested to Zach last night that he should bail that house and just come down here while the COVID's running rife before he gets it. We'll see what happens. Everything I'm talking about, everything we're all just playing by ear at the moment. We don't have any assuredness of what we're doing for Christmas, who's coming, who's not coming, who's going to be sick, who's not going to be sick. So I'm quite happy to wing it. I'd prefer not to do much on Christmas anyway, except sit around and drink piss, eat food, all the usual good stuff.
Drink piss and eat food. Oh, drink piss and eat food. Got it.
No, drink piss.
No, don't. Oh, drink piss. Okay. Oh,
piss being liquor, not urine.
Oh, well, that's confusing.
Isn't that funny when I don't concentrate and I just whipped a fly out the air and threw it on the ground, but I didn't even kill it because I wasn't concentrating on death. Maybe I did. He hasn't moved. Did good. Maybe I should concentrate less all the time. This focus is overrated.
Focusing is just too much for you.
Well, clearly, if I can, Miyagi a fly out of the air without even concentrating, it just happened automatically. Pardon me. Yeah, fun times, this Christmas ball stuff. But, pretty much the purpose and, well, not the only purpose of how do you say respite?
Respite?
I do. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan of that pronunciation. It sounds like how someone from Georgia or Louisiana would say it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get me some respite. But yeah, it gives me less to do. So now I've got an open dance card for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Depending on what happens at Christmas. I won't know what to do with myself. It's been so long. What's the bet that I just sit around and go through my daily routine and just don't do anything? I've got, all of this spare time to go and do stuff. And yeah, I probably won't do shit because I'm lazy and really don't care about doing things. Too old for things. It's an oldie but a goodie, BJ. It used to be one of my brother's favourite jokes when we were kids. He'd always laugh every time he'd tell it. They're really on. I mean, I have murdered quite a few of them today, and they just keep coming. There's like 2 sitting on the Razor Crest right there beside me. I wonder if I hit the Razor Crest with a fly swat, do I break the jet off? Nope. Fucking got both of them. 2 shots though. You know, there's 2 less to worry about. Yeah, when Sarah was here and she had one of her sons with her who's like a mad Lego nut. So I had to get some of my Legos out and show them to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's good fun. Good fun. Ooh, I hate picking this guy up. This one's my new personal favourite. Whoops. Yeah, I stupidly started building that. I can't remember whether it was last Wednesday night or Thursday night, and it must have been already 11 o'clock or midnight at night. And I said, I'll just do a couple of two or three bags and start it. And then all of a sudden I was 7 bags in and it was 4 a.m. And I was like, where did that time go? Where did that self-control go? Straight out the window. So yeah, then I saved the rest, and then a couple of days later I was on Punchy Paint's art stream, and I finished it on the stream as my art project for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that one. Why wait? That's the one I finished on Pam's stream. Good build though. It's a good ship. Sexy as. The bloody Sith and the Imperials get all the fun stuff, don't they? All the sexier stuff. I mean, look at those rebel pilots all dressed in their orange and beige. Who designs their gear? G'day, Mickham. Did I say hi to you yet? Oh, I see. I was trying to work out what you were talking about, but me doing stuff. I did went down to the creek yesterday for a little bit of a walk because it's been quite windy. So I went down to the creek to see if my drone had been successfully knocked out of the trees yet. It hadn't. I mean, if it had, it might have been knocked into the creek and then floated off elsewhere. But yeah, there's like heaps of gambusia in the water. But as I got close to the edge of the water, there was this school of, maybe 3.5 inch fish all took off into the deeper water. And I'm kind of hoping that they might be empire gudgeons.
Right. Because,
they're very, very popular and populous. They're everywhere around here. But I'm not sure if they school up like that near the surface. So I'm going to have to take my bait trap down and set it up. So that could be an option for a video, Mickham. Why not film some boring bait trap in water action? But, my body, no, how's it go? My mouth keeps writing checks that my body refuses to cash. I keep saying I'm going to do stuff and I don't do it. Look, GRB, he's still waiting on guitar pedals that I've still got sitting inside that I said I was going to send him.
Oh.
I haven't forgot, GRB. I haven't forgot. And I haven't used the guitar pedals, so they'd be much better off in your hands than mine. But yeah, I'm notorious for that. I'll be the first one to go on record and say that I'm notorious for saying I'm going to do something and then I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit slack like that. But, you know, I also don't care. I do.
You also don't care.
Yeah, I do. But deep down inside, I do. But, you know, it's fun to maintain this external facade of aloofness. Actually, I don't think you need to say external facade, do you? Because if that's, you're doubling up on meanings because a facade is external. Trying to sound all smart and shit. Ugh, what's with this Blacky guy? Who's he think he is?
Who does he think he is?
What else? Oh, wow,
Well,
that's good reminding. I was only just thinking about that earlier, that we were really, really full on and strong on talking to Replay Team 6, and then we had a few weeks off doing this stream.
mm-hmm.
And first stream back, we left out poor old Replay Team 6. Didn't even get a bloody mention.
Yeah, we don't want to leave out Replay Team 6. It's important.
Thank you very much for bringing that back to my attention, because I would have probably forgotten about that until next stream. So yeah, Replay Team 6. This is probably pretty early in the stream still, so it's highly likely that you've still lasted this long. But we'll try and remember later in the stream to accuse you of being lunatics for lasting this long. Not that we'll probably go that long. We'll probably find other things to do for the afternoon instead of just streaming all day long.
Mm-hmm. There are
Maybe.
other things that we could do. Sure.
Lots of other things. I got like all this mess and shit that I got to clean up before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Oh yeah, definitely. I hate that shit. And now's a great time to do stuff like that. As my sister Debbie, she's seems to, whenever she visits, has perpetually is always finding trash and rubbish that needs to be emptied out of the house that has been hoarded over many years and stuff. So it's absolutely brilliant to have that kind of work ethic in there, cleaning shit out that I couldn't even be bothered touching because there's so much of it.
Right.
It's slow culling. Yes, that's what she says. Slow culling so that it's not all noticeable at once. Because you can sort of, I've witnessed it before when Deb starts culling her stuff out and Mum's eyes start going, you know, looking for what's being removed and what she can still salvage out of this stuff that's not been touched for 15 years, but still might need that, you know, how desperate hoarders get for their stuff. Old house, it was built in the mid-70s, and hasn't had any work to the inside of the house at all. So it's still got all the old original carpet and lino and fixtures and fittings and whatnot. But definitely needs an overhaul. But you know, it's a good solid house. Frame's good. All of that kind of hoo-ha. Just that the 70s were a real they were a real design period, yeah. So lots of the tiling choices very interesting, and lots of the carpet choices very, very, very 70s based. And it's a white brick house. You don't get many of them these days. G'day, Rumble. How's it going, mate? Yeah. These days, they'd probably, you know, cement render it and paint it a charcoaly grey or something and make it all modern and stuff. But yeah, may have to get around to. Do you want to come to Australia and refurb my kitchen? That'd be a nice holiday for you.
mean, I guess maybe, kind of busy.
I'd let you camp in the backyard in a tent or something for free. I wouldn't even charge you for it.
For free? Oh, wow. Okay. You wouldn't charge me for the staying.
Yeah. Just as I wouldn't expect you to charge me for the work.
Right.
It's fairly even balance, yeah. You can see that, no doubt.
Fair and balanced TM trademark.
Yeah, that's true, Rumble. Grey is no character, but it's very bloody popular at the moment. Actually, it's funny, GRB says 1970s avocado colour. Lots of the trimming in the kitchen is actually 70s avocado colour.
80s.
Huh?
80s.
70s.
Oh, yeah, because theirs was avocado, but we built in the 80s.
I'm sure this place was built in
Yeah.
77 or 78 or something. And the lino in the kitchen and down the hallway, I've only ever seen that in one other place. It's almost unique.
Mm-hmm.
G'day, Blake. How's it going? What's this stuff I heard before about Blake having some awesome video idea? I'll have to go and have a look. I haven't seen videos of fish people for yonks. Might have to find a link for Blake's video. Everyone's probably seen it. He's got almost as many subscribers as PewDiePie. Last time I looked. How's Vicky going?
She's going pretty good. I mean, she's back at work now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just doing the full bore work stuff and, doing her thing. And she's healing pretty well, honestly.
Good, healthy humans, they heal well.
Yeah. It's kind of
G'day, Vitra. Oh, crikey, that relief. After having a bourbon with cola in it, and my mouth starts to get all of this sickly sweet taste in it.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to soda water, and it's so refreshing and tasty and nice. I don't know why I persist with the occasional cola ones, because I know I regret it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I need to wake up a little bit, I guess, as a general rule. Fish Room, how are you, Cam? It's 2 weeks in a row for you, Cam. You must be bored or on holidays or something. What else are we talking about? God, I'm tangent man today, aren't I? Going off on 75 tangents at once. Lucky I'm so composed and I can remember exactly where I'm up to in my brain. I suppose I am a wee bit preoccupied with what's going on and stuff. I believe Cam from the Fish Room may be the only person in the room further ahead in the future than me. Being a New Zealander. Oh, Aquamate, I didn't even see you sneak in. How are you, Joshua? Good to see you. Who else was? Oh no, Kiwi Mame. She's our other Kiwi, isn't she? She's not here, I don't think. Joker 2 is in production, slated to come out February 2024. I got sucked into watching a YouTube video the other day, which was trailers for movies coming out in 2023. And it was quite a long video, maybe 40 or 50 minutes long. But about halfway through it, all of the movies after that were 2024 movies. And it's like, it's too far out to be anticipating things. It's like the same with, Star Wars release dates and stuff like that. I mean, sure, it's fun to know that there's new stuff coming out, but, I don't want to know further than a year out, Are you up in Cairns or something, Joshua, in the Queensland? Wow. I've just been handed this fantastic looking device. It's actually called a vibrator as well. It's going to require 2 hands for show and tell.
For sure.
Lovely old vinyl packaging. It's a national vibrator. Not statewide, national vibrator. Wow, I don't know if I'd ever dare to plug that in. I've got 2 weeks of alone time. This could be a fun thing to experiment with. By crikey, would you look at this beast? What the devil would you do with that thing? I'm assuming it was sold as a back massager or something, but this bit in the middle looks a little bit interesting. I have a strange feeling though, if that were to be plugged in and switched on, that the what do you call it? I don't know what you call them over there, but we call them safety switches here for when the electricity in your house gets overloaded or something and it cuts out.
Yeah, GFI.
What do you call them?
GFI.
What did you call it?
Ground fault outlet, ground fault interrupter, or arc fault. We have a bunch of different outlets here. So, for safety. Safety features galore, my guy. Because people
certainly
be themselves.
Yeah, well, I've certainly triggered it a few times with interesting things happening. Water's a really good one for, cutting the electricity off if you've got water all over the floor that's been going through electricity and stuff. That's a really, really handy time to have the safety switch trip.
Yeah.
Last thing you need to be doing is walking through live water and getting a whopping 240 volts at so many amps through your bits.
It's not a good feeling. It's a decided feeling of absolute danger. Like, we're in the midst of danger, my friend.
You say that though. I had a broken heater in a fish tank once that I didn't realize was broken. And I was doing some tank maintenance and I've reached into the water and got a, fairly considerably large bite out of the water. And I've gone, oh, what was that? And put my hand back in. Whoa, what was that? I think I did it 3 times before I thought, there's something electrical going on here. Potentially I should investigate. And yeah, the heater had massive cracks in it and was electrifying the water. But it's always funny to think how fish survive it. I know they're not grounding themselves or anything, but imagine if they were actually getting electric shocks while they're swimming around.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes they kind of do, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
They don't ground out, though, because they're just floating around in the water. They're like, hey, I'm just in here.
Yeah, we are on daylight savings. It's only Queensland and WA, I think, that don't do DST, Joshua. I thought you must have been on holiday in Queensland saying you were in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, that's not true either because Queensland are an hour behind us. So my logic is flawed, is and was. Too close to Christmas, nobody cares about work anymore. Work. What does that taste like?
What is this you speak of?
So yeah, all this talk of making videos, primarily these fish in the creek just have me intrigued as to what they might be. I'll probably catch some of them. They'll just turn out to be baby mullet or something. That'd be an interesting one to see if I could keep mullet in a fish tank, because they're pretty funky looking fish.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, schooling behavior of larger fish is always fun to watch.
That is true. Did you just barf?
I burped. No bath came up, though. G'day, Ozzo. I can't work out, Ozzo, are you Australian with a name like that, or are you just called Ozzo? Oh, Aquamate's got a bit of COVID in his house too. No one can escape it, even though some people haven't had it yet. My mum still hasn't had it. I'm so stoked I didn't give it to her when I had it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was my first dose. Some other lucky people get it 2 or 3 times. Such luck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because Olivia caught it twice, which concerns me because she's little and they don't really know. You know, they don't really know what's going on there, right?
Yeah,
Long term,
yeah.
any kind of long term effects or anything. So that's a problem. But but then again, it's kind of like, well, you know, who knows what could happen, you know? So I guess just hope for the best, I guess, right?
Yeah, Dad had it when he was in hospital and he had no symptoms at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, some people win, some people lose. I got mates out that way, Aussie. I was actually up there a couple of months ago, the start of September. I was out Ipswich Way, stopping at a mate's house for his birthday. Yeah, Kiwi Mamo, it's definitely a speak of the devil and the devil shows up situation. We were talking about you behind your back, and I'm going to take this opportunity to apologise about all of the nasty stuff we were saying, which basically in its entirety was that you are more in the future than us. It's about as nasty as it got, I think. There we go. Huawei has also clarified it. If 2 of us say the same things, it means none of us are lying, right? Anyway, what else can we talk about? What else has been going on? I think
What
I've got
else has
most
been going
much
on?
out the way that's been going on.
What else
And
has been going on?
Thanks for letting me get all that out and off my chest and stuff. I probably did need to talk about stuff like that. What has been going on? Not a lot. I've been watching a fair amount of cricket because there's more bloody cricket on every night of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, that can tend to eat up a fair bit of one's time.
Oh, you've been hanging out watching cricket?
Yeah, well, hanging out.
Just getting deep into the cricket lore, as it were.
Yeah. Oh, the lore. Plenty of lore. Good history. And stats and all that. It's good fun. Good fun. Especially, the T20. Here we go. Chat's opening up to cricket talk. Joel's favourite subject.
My favorite, or Joel G?
Yours. Yeah.
Oh, mine?
Yours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Joel
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but, you know.
I was basically using a hyperbole to be sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Cam, to have a 5-day test match over in 2 days is probably the kind of test match that Arctic Breeze would probably enjoy to watch, because it's not over in 5 days, it's over in 2 days. But yeah, the pitch was quite terrible, very green, too much grass on it. That's not a test match wicket at all. You want a test match wicket to be nice and brown and hard and last for 5 days. I mean, that green pitch would have probably lasted 5 days, but it just gives the bowlers too many benefits. And both teams that were playing, Australia and South Africa, very strong bowling lineups. They don't need assistance from a pitch being set up for a bowler's game. The result probably could have been the same after 5 days of cricket, instead of it all being over before the second day's even finished. Yeah, that's true, Cam. Day 5 would have been a great day, 1 wicket. I don't know how they stuff shit up like that these days. It would be interesting, because basically at the end of most, if not all, international cricket games, the pitches get reviewed by the match referee, and they get reported on. If they're shit or no good for the game, then that ground staff get criticised and get, demerit points and stuff, and they have to perform better next time. So hopefully they got a little bit of a caning, a little bit of a whipping on the bottom for preparing such a grassy pitch for a test match. Anyway, what else there? Lots of cricket. I watched the Batman. Finally got around to that. That was wasn't too bad, but what's her name? That Zoe Kravitz was a terrible Catwoman. But yeah, it's decent. It was a little bit long though. All these DC movies that have to go for more than 2.5 hours is getting a little bit beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they just be like the Lord of the Rings and break a movie up into 3 long movies instead? Seems a logical choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was rubbish, man. She, like, every scene she was in, she just gave me the shits. No, that's not true, Kat McKenzie. Halle Berry is not the best Catwoman. The best Catwoman was Lee Merriweather, without a doubt. I'll arm wrestle you for that. But yeah, she couldn't, even if, I don't know how much training she did for the fight scenes and how choreographed they were, but all of her fighting looked like an 11-year-old girl doing this. Just looked so wrong. Didn't work at all. Oh, yeah. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, Lee Merriweather was a Catwoman in the original Batman TV series with Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't the black one. The black one was Eartha Kitt. Because I think she was in the TV show too, wasn't she? Eartha Kitt as Catwoman. But yeah, Lee Merriweather. Whoa. I know that's not very politically correct these days, but whoa.
Is that not politically correct?
You're not allowed to objectify women for their looks, are you?
Ah.
Yeah, even as a small child, I knew that was a beautiful woman, and she moved and sounded all the right ways.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'd actually forgotten that Alicia Silverstone... Wait, Alicia Silverstone wasn't Catwoman. She was Batgirl, wasn't she? In the Batman and Robin movie, I think. Michelle Pfeiffer was, yes, I remember that one, but I had forgotten. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Alicia Silverstone was Batgirl. I'm sure that was in Batman and Robin, which was also quite a terrible Batman movie. You objectify Ozzo Wawe, or you treat him as an object. Hang on, that's the same thing. Do you object to him? Yeah, thanks, Huawei. I thought so. Sometimes my memory gets confused. I'm getting old, but generally remembering movie things I'm okay at for the most part. What else? Have you seen anything good lately? Lee Merriweather. Hang on, I'll type it in the chat. If I can remember how to spell it. Or is it weather like weather, or is it weather like weather? I think it's without the A. And it might only be one R. I think, did she... Oh, now I'm really digging into dodgy memories. She may have also played Wednesday Addams in the original Addams Family TV show.
Yo, really?
For some reason, I'm thinking of her name being a Wednesday thing as well. Yeah, I've got to go through all of her stuff. Unless there's a different Lee Merriweather, maybe spelt differently or something. Well, I have to scroll pretty fast. Crikey, she's still acting to this day. Oh no, hang on. 2019, last entry in IMDb. Good on her. Oh, appearance in The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Chips. She's done all the great shows of the 80s and 70s. True Grit, A Further Adventure. They made a sequel. Cool. The things you learn from IMDb. Oh, yeah. Mission Impossible, 69 to 70. We go way back for the Addams Family, don't we? That was like the 50s or something. Yeah, no, I might be making shit up. Doesn't seem to be accurate. Addams Family TV show. Let's look that up as well. Today on Have a Beverage with Blacky, we'll be Googling stuff.
You'll be Googling stuff?
Yeah, why not? God, Wikipedia's getting really full on with their pushing for donations, aren't they? I wonder if you donate, do they give up and they stop hassling you? Oh, wow. Lisa Loring was Wednesday Addams in the original Addams Family in the 60s. I don't know where that confusion came from. Wasn't Lisa Loring, wasn't she a popular actor in the 80s? I'm going to go down a bloody wormhole, aren't I, of looking at people. She's in like Melrose Place or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to close these Wikipedia and IMDb windows. Try and be a little bit more present here. The Munsters, was it? Was she in the Munsters? I've just closed those windows. I just said I'm going to try and avoid doing that. Before I did that, I think I asked you a question, didn't I? And you're about to answer it, and then I interrupted you. Maybe. Is it what happened? What have you been watching, maybe?
I haven't been really watching anything. I mean, it's football season, so I got that going. There just hasn't really been anything that really piqued my interest this of late, I guess, would be what the word I'm looking for here.
Yeah, I can dig that.
I just haven't seen anything. It's like, man, I gotta watch that. I gotta check that out. And I don't know. I go through all these phases. I think there's some new stuff out that I probably want to see, but I just don't even have time for it. It's like, like today was an exceptional day. Freaking blizzard outside. And for all of the weird weather we have here, like it really doesn't snow here that much. It's always these like 1 or 2, 3 events where it snows, and it creates total chaos here, right? Because like they know that snow is going to happen, but we don't have. It's not like Minnesota here, you know what I mean, where you have 6 months of blizzard, Arctic wind blowing, and snow constantly. So, like we have some snow plows, but not very many, right? We have some stuff for that, but there's no reason to like spend the millions and millions of dollars for the stuff to work 4 days out of the year, 5 days out of the year, 6 days out of the year. It's just not worth it. So, while they are fairly well equipped, there are roads and hills everywhere here. So inevitably there's going to be, like, I don't know what it's like in your area. It's very hilly where I live, like to the point where there are roads that you like drive up to it and then it's just a hill that goes like that, and you're like, is a road supposed to be this steep? And you're like, no, but people want to go up there. So there's a road now. Like for instance, like across the street from the aquarium co-op, there's a road that comes down and there's a stop sign right at the bottom of the hill, and then a road that's crossing it, right? The road that's crossing it's really busy, and this hill is like super, super, super steep, and the stop sign is directly at the bottom of the road. All right, hold on, where's my camera? The road comes down like this, and the stop sign's right here, where this flat road and everybody's driving fast. Does that make sense? And so, like, when it snows a lot, some crew will come by and they throw out traffic cones and stop signs and like, this hill's closed. Don't even try it. Don't even bother. Just don't even bother until the snow's gone. Until it melts and goes away. Stop. We're not even going to try and fix it. Like, that's it.
Plenty of incidences of people sliding down the hill and not being able to stop.
So people slide down that hill in the rain and not able to stop.
Like they miss the gradient up a bit on that road, perhaps.
It is the way it is. I've known that road for the entirety of my life, for 40 whatever years. It has been like that. They repaved it. You'd have to bring down a big giant hill in order to change the road, and no one's going to pay for that, right? So the road just is the way that it is. So whenever it snows or it's icy or whatever, they just come out and throw down the cones and the sign, and they're like, don't drive up here. Sorry. Like, don't go that way. Go some other way. Go the other way. So, to give you a breakdown, like, the really main roads around will be plowed and cleared, and generally pretty easy to drive on. And so you'll be driving down, I don't know what you guys call them, a boulevard, whatever, a five or 6 lane road, like, or 2 lanes on one side, 2 lanes on the other side, and a turn lane in the middle, right? You're like, oh yeah, it's kind of a busy road. A lot of people drive down this way, and you'll be driving down, and it's like the road's just kind of wet because like there's all the snow around. The road's just wet though. And then you're like, now I've got to turn that way on that road to go out off into yonder. And all of a sudden it's like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm on an ice patch of snow road. And then it's like, whoa, oh, okay. All right. Let me get my bearings here. Didn't realize this side road was going to be that bad. So it's a lot of that, right? And people around here, they're not invested in like driving in the snow realistically, right? It's not like a huge, there are a lot of, admittedly, there are a lot of people like me that like to go up into the mountains, go up in the snow and do snow stuff. But we are far outnumbered by the people that are like, oh, it's snowing.
Completely
I think I'll stay
untrained.
home. Oh crap, I don't have any food. I better go to the store and crash my car on the way. So yeah, it's an interesting vibe. So like today was, today revolved around that. Where like, we had to close down the store. Because first off, there just wasn't that many. There's not going to be that many customers, right? Like people aren't going to be driving to a fish store during the one day of blizzard, right? And then of course none of the employees could come in, so it was basically I went over and like helped the manager get things sorted out and whatnot. And then we actually had like a really big customer, not in physical stature, but in
Expenditure.
Yes, come in and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you guys weren't open." And we're like, "Oh, hey, hey guy, and it was like,
We'll open
and
for you if you're buying.
as a courtesy, it was one of those things. Oh, hey, do you want to grab just a couple things? We can just ring you up. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Because we had like left the door open because we were kind of going back and forth. And normally the store door stays open when we're there, right? So it's like you don't think to lock it. But he kind of just wandered in, and so, but then, he bought hundreds and hundreds of fish. Because he was like, well, I actually wanted to buy a lot of stuff. And it was like, wait, you actually want to buy a lot of stuff? And he's like, yeah, and he's just going around like, how many are in this tank? And it's, I don't know, it was like 40 or something. It's like, I'll take all those ones. I'll take all of them, and stuff like that. And you're kind of like, oh, because he was stocking a big project tank. So it was kind of weird. So he actually made a big sale, and then we're like, all right, none of the employees were there. So it was like, we can't just open. It's just we can't do it. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like we get these weird weather events like tonight. Yeah, I need to get my conversion on here to convert to Celsiums for you.
Celsiums. I like that one.
I need Celsiums. There we go. So right now it's -1 Celsius.
It's pretty mild.
Let's see. Oh, I've got the wrong city here. Let me change the city. Hold on. Nope, I did that wrong. There we go. All right, so where I live, it's -4 Celsius. And then tonight it's going to get down to -7 Celsius. Tomorrow night it'll be -12 Celsius. Thursday -12 Celsius. Friday -2 Celsius overnight. And then Saturday, it's going to pick up. Saturday, it's going to pick up to a balmy 4 Celsius. So
positive.
The stuff that's frozen will be no longer frozen or thawing.
A bit slushy,
ice cold. Yeah.
So when it is that cold outside, what do you set your temperature to indoors?
The same. 70 Fahrenheit, whatever that is in Celsius. I don't know. 3,000
the conversion.
40. 4
what did
million?
You say 70?
Yeah, hold on. I had the conversion, and then I closed the thing, So let's say 69. So then everybody in chat can say nice, right?
Nice. Up top, my brother.
Yeah. 20.5556. 20.5556 Celsiums.
Yeah, that's a good way to pronounce it.
So typically, so my house, I can actually explain my thermostat to you. So my house during the day is set to, oh my God, I just what did I do?
You closed it again?
No, I pushed the minimize button instead of the maximize button. I was like, wait a minute. So during the day, our thermostat is set to 66 degrees. Then when we get home from school / after work, whatever, it goes 68 and then goes to 70 until about 10 o'clock at night, and then it goes back down to 66. So whatever the F that is in Celsius. So it's like we're not trying to heat while everybody's sleeping as much. Just keep it, relative in the house, because you're like you're under your blankets, you're in your bed, you're sleeping. It's better to be colder when you're sleeping anyhow. So, so we just do the thing, and it just kind of revolves like that. But normally, if it's at default, it's at 68. And then sometimes 68 just feels cold, so you bump it up to 70, and then you're like, yeah, all right, it's warm again. Like, okay. So, but like my house is way more insulated than anything I think you've probably ever seen in your entire life. So like my walls are insulated, the underneath of the house, the crawl space is insulated, the attic is insulated to R49. I don't know if you guys have R value in Australia. You probably don't care, but
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not an insulator.
Yeah. The R value goes from 2. The R value goes from 2 to 60 plus. Anything above 60 is like not really measurable, and that's for like Arctic. But if where I live is not the Arctic, I just live really north, right? But not like really, really north, not like Alaska or anything. That's the Arctic. So where I live, you want to
further north than I do south.
Yeah, it's true. But like, so where I live, the sort of standard for your attic would be R49, which is pretty thick. I mean, when you get down to it, like, how deep is that? I don't know. Do you guys do blow-in insulation down there? Are you familiar with that? No, probably not.
That's where it's like a reverse vacuum cleaner, just spraying the shit into your roof and stuff, or down your walls.
Basically, yeah. So that is, I think an R49, I believe, is 22 inches thick, which is probably immeasurable in centimeters, right? But
46-ish.
Yeah, something like that, right? So it's pretty thick. 60 is obviously deeper than that. So where I live, normal people would go to like R49 and just be like, wow, we did good, right? Like, that's fine. My goal would be to hit R60 for the attic, because heat escapes up and hot comes in from the roof. So it is really helpful in the summer here when it's really hot. Keeps the house from getting overly heated by the radiation of the sun. And it also, in the winter, obviously, it probably makes sense that in the winter we have to heat a lot more than we do have to cool in the summer. So we don't want to have giant electric bills or gas bills.
You want to keep it all in.
Right. So it's a matter of like efficiency in heating. And so I think I mentioned it to you last week. I got some little squirrely those little tree rat guys. I forget what they're called. They're like Norwegian something, whatevers. Those little squirrely rats. A couple of them got into my basement or my crawl space. I don't have a basement. I keep saying basement. It's driving me bonkers. I don't have a basement here. Got into the crawl space, effed some stuff up. And then there also is like some slight moisture issue and ventilation issue and stuff. But needless to say, all of the insulation down there needs to get torn out. Need to spray for rat pee, blah, blah, blah. Put in a new moisture barrier. Fix whatever hole they got in from, because we can't really figure it out from the outside. It's like, everything looks good from out here, but I don't know how they got in. Those guys will figure it out. So it's going to be a pretty big bill dealing with that insulation situation, but we got to do what we got to do. Can't just leave it. Not like in Australia. You can't just like let a snake go in and that'd be cool. Can't just let little tree weasels in the basement or the crawl space. Either way, can't have them.
Yeah, I got mice in the house at the moment. I was very tempted just to dig out one of the pythons and go and put it in the house while the parents are away.
Just let it loose.
Yeah, but instead I resigned myself to some rat baits or rodent baits.
Yeah.
Which I'm very loath to do, because then they, hopefully the mice don't run outside and get eaten by snakes, and then, therefore poison the snakes as well.
Oh, are you using poison, like traditional poison? So I actually use this stuff. I actually use this stuff. It's compressed corn husk stuff. So it's non-toxic. You can feed it to your dog. You can feed it to your chickens. My chickens ate a whole thing of it one day. I didn't want them to. They managed to get it, and they ate the whole thing.
Is it supposed to expand when it goes in their guts or something?
No, it's that the rats and mice, they can't digest it properly. So
okay.
it messes up their intestines, so that they can no longer digest water. They can't take water in anymore. So they just exsanguinate basically and dehydrate, lay down, go to sleep, and die. So a bummer. It's not a happy day, I'm sure, for the rat or mouse. But the bigger issue to me is that, like, so people will poison rats, and then the rat wanders off, and then, like you said, a snake or a bird or a dog or something eats it, and then they get poisoned. It's like, okay, that's not great, so that's why we just completely refrain from doing that, or I just do the big snap traps. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I put some peanut butter out for you there, Chief. Do you want to give it a taste? For I shall decapitate you with the jaws of death. That's pretty optimal, really. Like when I can get one that way, because it's like there's a confirmed kill.
Yeah, there's a level of satisfaction about it.
Get rid of them. I don't like it. It always bugs me out whenever I see them initially. My initial reaction is, oh no. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait, no, that was the plan. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get this guy out of here. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is, but it's literally just that, like, that
the
visceral
first
reaction
moment
of like
something
has died. Like, oh no,
took a
something's
life.
wrong. Danger. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I might have to look into that corn stuff, because a big dog can probably eat a poisoned rat and survive the poison, but my dog's only a little guy. He might not.
I don't think so. I think
know.
even big dogs, like, it does not compute.
Yeah, I might have to look into that corn stuff, because I don't want to be killing snakes or birds or dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially my
dog. One of the old ways they
around
used to do it is, so you take a bucket of water. Have you ever seen this? And you put a tip trap on the top of it. Have you seen those? Have you got one? Oh, he's got one over there. Yeah, there you go.
Probably should have just put that inside.
They work
that one. I bought 2 of them, and the first few nights that I had it, I was having quite a few rats out here.
Mm-hmm.
And the first night I set it up and put my motion sensor camera on it, and I got quite a few different sections of video of the rat quite successfully getting in and taking bait out of it and jumping back when the trapdoor fell out the way. And I still to this day have not caught a rodent in it, but it has been. I haven't rebaited it for a month or so, and something knocked the ladder off the other day. So I probably should even think about setting that up in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I did. My baits have been chewed on. I checked them this morning, so I guess it's a double-edged sword. I was going to say hopefully they just climb away inside one of the cupboards and die in there, but then I'm going to have a reasonably stinky kitchen for a few days.
That's for sure.
I was doing some cleaning some crap out of a kitchen cupboard probably 6 to 12 months ago, and they're like all these jars of conserves and preserves and jams and pickles and stuff, and I've moved them out the way, and then oh goodness, I still didn't get it. There's this pile in the corner of fur and bones, and it was like 2 or 3 mice have all climbed into this one corner together and died. But yeah, I don't recall ever smelling them, but yeah, they were obviously bait victims, so I'm kind of hoping that they do that again and just die in a cupboard somewhere instead of getting outside where they can be eaten by someone and murder someone else. Yeah, I might actually redo that bucket trap, put it inside tonight and see what I get. Set the camera up on it again.
Oh yeah, it must be snowing out again. Hold on. Let me take a look. I'm gonna look out the window. The report says, "Hey, it's snowing more, Chief."
My temperature's gone down another degree. Sitting on 23 degrees here. It's bloody lovely. I did have to put the hair back a bit because the wind gets a little bit wild with such
All right,
long
guy.
lock.
It is indeed
More snow.
snowing more.
Is it thick and heavy and full on?
There's a lot of it, and it's very small, which means it's very cold. So if you have big fat flakes of snow, that means it's like warm, right? You're close. You're close to it heating back up, and you're gonna get rain. But when it's little tiny flakes and a lot of it, it's going to pile up really fast because it is really cold out, and it ain't going nowhere. So if you get that big fat stuff coming down, that's normally not that big of a stressor because you're like, it's gonna get warm. But when you get the little stuff like we got now, that means it ain't going nowhere for at least a couple days. Which is true, looking at the weather report, that it ain't going nowhere. So I was just praying that my side road here, because it's about, from where I live, it's about 2 miles down to the main road that goes up, and then I can go through town and then go to the freeway. So I got about 2 miles of driving real slow on a big thick sheet of ice. Just ice skating, like, okay, just stay around here in the middle. But I leave so early in the morning, I probably won't even see another car. So
what actually what qualifies a blizzard as a blizzard? Is it just a shit ton of snow, or is it like combined with extra wind and stuff?
That's essentially what you're let me look up the qualification. But yeah, blizzard means shitload of snow. Yeah. I'm just wondering what the actual definition is of it. A severe snowstorm with high winds and low visibility. Yeah. Which, when it's snowing a lot, there's normally wind, like it doesn't normally just trickle down out of the sky. So I guess maybe the wind and heavy snow and heavy wind, I guess, makes it a blizzard effect. But most people colloquially would just say, if it's a shitload of snow,
blizzard territory.
Yeah, it's like just call it a blizzard. Normally, most people would refer to the heavy winds and heavy snow as a whiteout, is what they normally would call it. They would just be like, it's a whiteout. Like, you just the weather's so bad, it's a whiteout. Just don't go out there. You can't do anything.
Sit inside and wait.
You can't see where you're going when you're driving. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. Like, it's just white chaos in front of the car. It's like, you don't know where the fuck you're going. So it's not a great situation. I've been on it a couple times.
I've been in that coat and walk.
I've been in that like more than a few times, especially Eastern Washington, and on the freeway. So you're going 60, 70 miles an hour, and the snow. I mean, you're like, you can see out front of the car, and you kind of know that that's where the lines are, and you just keep following that, and just going for it. Like, well, hopefully no one's crashed up there, because I have seen quite a few times where a car crashes, and then and it'll be stopped, and then just a full blown car doesn't even see it stopped and just crashes straight into it at like 70 miles. It's insane. But fingers crossed that's never happened to me. But I have seen a semi jackknife directly in front of the vehicle, about like, I don't know, what do you call it, 600 feet in front, something like that. Like, it's right up there.
Yeah, and on
Straight up,
a sunny day,
complete
that gives you
jackknife.
plenty of time to stop, but not
Complete
on a snowy
jackknife.
day.
Was on its side, sliding down on the freeway. Managed to get all the way over to the left-hand shoulder and drove right past it. Just was like, that's the only thing that could happen right now, because, I think we were going like 80 miles an hour. It's like, just, you can't stop, because it was
not at 100 feet.
at the time, it was like, I don't think it wasn't a snowstorm or anything. It was raining. It was raining, not insanely bad, but it was raining. So you're kind of like, we ain't going to stop. If you try to just stop, you're just going to slide into it and crash yourself. So go around it. It worked out.
Dodge and weave.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to dip, dive, duck, dodge, and
Somersault.
dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a jackknifing semi.
I'm going to go and wrestle a crocodile and make a beverage.
Oh my God, he's going to do that. I just found my chat. I started reading it. Kat McKenzie's in BC, so you're probably having similar-ish weather, I would imagine. I doubt you have warmer weather up there, up north of me, but you're not that far north of me. Where was BJ? Where did BJ say they were? Huh. The Arctic jet stream going berserk. Yeah, the weather is going quite berserk right now. All around the U.S., that's my understanding. Ozzo says the gorilla farts. Okay. All right. Dig it. BJ's getting a nasty blizzard event on Friday. First time in decades. Not much actual snow, but the tremendous winds. Oh, okay. That's how you were wondering about the blizzard. Oh, BJ's just staying home. Yeah, that's probably the smart thing to do. Kat says it's negative 31. Oh my God, you must be way north in BC. You probably live close to my friend up there. She posted a picture where it was what was it? I have to let me look this up. I'm gonna have to look that up. What did she post? Let me find out. Let me find it. It was interesting. They're like way up north in BC, but their weather is renowned for getting completely insane.
Did you get it in black, Huawei? Are we shirt twins now? Okanogan.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
What did they?
Near the Shenandoah River, BJ? Yeah, BJ. It's a Sarah shirt.
Yeah,
It's the one.
that's what they were
Huawei
saying.
does.
It's negative 32 Celsius at their house, and they're up in like that kind of northern, up north in BC. And
Kelowna.
yeah. What's that?
Kat McKenzie says near Kelowna.
Oh, Kelowna?
In,
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce these things. Okanogan near Kelowna.
It says it's only negative 10 there right now.
You're probably still on Celsiums.
Oh, there we go. It's negative 23. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so it is colder up there. Extreme cold warning, interior British Columbia. Prolonged period of unseasonably cold temperatures will continue for the majority of this week. You're all gonna freeze. Yeah, so my friend lives up at some kind of wacky mile marker town. And it's funny because I've mentioned this 150-mile house, 100-mile house, 70-mile house. It's some kind of one of these whatever mile marker house zones or whatever. Out in the middle of nowhere. And it's kind of funny because they they happen to complain quite a bit about it's like, oh well, it's crazy living out here and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well then don't live out there. I don't what move from there. Stop complaining about it. Either like it or move, like
That's that's a really a funny similarity to like people that live in these flood ravaged towns around here that are constantly bombarded by floods and whatnot, and have their people have had their houses just.
Apologies. I don't understand.
I'm not even talking to you, mate. Couldn't work out whose voice that was. The Google speaker on the dryer just piped up about something. Yeah, these people that have had their houses destroyed like 2 and 3 and 4 times, but because they're so attached to the area that they live in, they moving away is not even conceivable. Just let's start again and go through it all again when it happens again and again and again. It's an interesting thing about humans and their tribal nature, I guess.
Yeah, it's a weird
some
vibe.
of us just can't leave where we grew up, says the 50-year-old dude who's sitting in the house that he grew up in. Yeah, it's my Google Home Mini speaker, and she's done that a couple of times in the last few days. Just pops up out of nowhere.
Is that your home or is that your workplace?
It's both.
Yeah,
really.
You could say I work at the house where I grew up in. If that makes you feel better.
Doesn't, but yeah, I appreciate the sentiment.
It doesn't? It doesn't help?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it any different to me, if you know what I mean. It's still the same thing.
But you moved away.
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah.
I haven't been here the whole 47, almost 48 years. I think that's right.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That's bloody stupid when you've got to do maths to work out how old you are. 1974.
You're 74, right?
1974, I was born at the end of December. The 30th of December, not the end of it, the almost end of it. New Year's Eve. So, I turned 48 at the end of this year. I think that's the maths. Isn't it crazy though? Like when I was, maybe a teenager, and I'd see a 50-year-old person, and I think, geez, that person's so old. But now I still just feel like a 23-year-old kid, except my body doesn't work as well as it used to.
Right.
But
I don't know. I can't say that I was ever vibing that hard with the that 50-year-olds were old. Although I will say 30 years ago, 50-year-old people seemed much older than 50-year-olds I know now. They seemed decrepit and just beat down.
They were smoking and drinking and just not exercising.
Not exercise. Yeah, just debaucherous lives. They were just eating cheese they found off the ground. These people were a disaster. They're just, but I mean, so there's that. You have that. But I don't remember ever having the like deep perspective of like, man, look at all these old people, except for like old gray haired, like, you know, grandparents that were retired, you know. I think that was the vibe. I think that was the vibe for me, was like, if you were somebody that was like retired, right? And you just hung around and like hung out with your grandkids or whatever, I was like, that's the metric for an old person.
Hmm.
I don't know. Is that weird?
I think it's, and well, I think it's very noticeable in like old TV shows and stuff. And you see people that are supposed to be, say, 30 or 40 in a TV show. But by today's standards, they look so much older than a 30 or 40-year-old might.
Right.
But, you know, as even though we are an aging population, our aging is getting younger. We're getting older, but looking not as old. I still am struggling to find the right words to make that make sense.
Yeah, we might not be living longer because the life expectancies keep dropping, but we're living a healthier amount of time, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Much better than the 2 ways I attempted.
Well, I don't know. It's about the same. It was equally as ridiculous.
Ogopogo Lake. There's a lake monster there.
Kogo Lake?
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo?
Kat McKenzie saying that there's a famous lake monster. I'm assuming similar in mythology to the Loch Ness monster. Maybe an old plesiosaur. Yeah, wow, is this we're leaving a more attractive corpse these days. When we're 80 years old and still buff, we die, and the mortician doesn't mind doing their work. They're not doing these ones while they're popping the lippy and the eyeshadow on.
Chicken.
Luckily, that one goes today.
What's that?
I said, lucky that one goes today. Debbie's filling up the garbage bin that happens to go today for collection. So, you know,
I was just like, I don't know what is happening. I keep hearing that wrong, and I guess but now you've explained it, and now it makes sense. So, yeah, we're just out here living in it, man. That's all I'm trying to say. The dog keeps coming in here. The dog likes hanging out with me. Just a shout out to the earth, you know. The dog is like, I need to be over there.
I need to be
go hang out with her mom.
With the human that doesn't look at me strange.
Yeah. I look at her strange, that's for sure. A weird little dog.
We get 3 garbage bins here, but only 2 of them get collected each week.
Right.
And
yeah, my cardboard gets picked up every other week, and I can't barely wrap my mind around it. Like, is this the week? I don't know. I'll just take both of them out there. And if we go a week without like a whole lot of anything in there, then I know this thing's like basically empty. Then that means it's not this week. Must not be.
Was that a natural curl, or did you have to have that done?
No, I had to have that done. Come on, look at my hair.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. No curls on this head.
Kat says Soul Taker said to say goodbye and good night to us. He's having tech issues. Thanks for passing that on, Kat. And good night, Soul Taker. Thanks for swinging by. And Kat also asks, how's your lady doing? We did cover that a little bit earlier, but you're more than welcome to go over it again. Back at work, you said. Back at work, healing well.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
You miss a. Kat's asking about your lady.
Oh, yeah, she's back.
Right.
She's back doing that, and she's healing pretty well, and things are going well. So I think we have a big doctor's checkup Thursday or something, and we'll get some more. Hey, what's going on here? So we'll figure it out.
It sounds like it's going well for her though, which is a bonus. Because that kind of stuff doesn't always go great for people. I know my mate Brett, his mum's back in hospital after complications after bowel cancer surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But she's what would she be? Early 80s, late 70s. So that's one of the bigger risks about potential surgeries in old people is the recovery time is greatly increased. I've got to go to a neurological. I've got to take my dad in the new year to a neurological place because he's getting excess spinal fluid or brain fluid storing around his brain, encephalitis style stuff. So we've got to go and discuss the potential for him to have a operation. And they're already saying it's the risks possibly outweigh the benefits because of infection and old people being not so great at healing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a wasted trip, but might as well do it, I suppose. No, I don't think it'll increase his movement or anything. You can come on camera and say hi to people if you want.
Who are you talking to? All over the world.
All over the world.
I was going to say, because somebody sounds like they're American or Canadian.
That's Joel.
Hi.
He's American.
Hey, Joel.
Hey,
that's my sister Debbie.
how's it going?
All right.
All right.
We've got people from New Zealand, multiple people from the US and we've even got Australians in here, believe it or not.
What time is it in America?
9 o'clock, I'm guessing, where Joel is. 10 o'clock.
What side of the states are you on?
He's in Washington, Seattle, sort of north of Seattle, aren't you?
Yep.
A wee bit north.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite cold there at the moment.
Yeah, he's got a blizzard at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah,
Something
it's
we
snowing.
won't get.
It's currently snowing outside. I know you Aussies are all scared of the snow. You fear it. You fear what you don't know.
I think we had Sweden in here earlier too, but I think Mickham might have fallen asleep.
He might have.
A bit early for the UK yet.
Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. there. So 6 a.m. UK, 7 a.m. Sweden, probably, I think. Yeah.
Wow, Mickham did well then. I think Mickham's Sweden, isn't he? Or Switzerland, one of the two. I'm sure even the Swedes and the Swiss struggle to tell each other apart. That could be considered racist if I wasn't white. I'm sure they have fun like Australian and New Zealand people do with each other.
Oh, sorry, Kat. I gave a kind of a lengthy Vicky update on my stream yesterday, so didn't mean to give you guys kind of the brush off. So, yeah, her healing is going well. She's back to work this week. So, we did, things are like a lot better than they could have been. So, there's that. Not only with the surgery, that went really well. Not only with the early diagnosis, that went really well. How she got her early diagnosis was like total happenstance. Like, unrelated to the potential cancer diagnosis. She had to get a mammogram, right? And they were like, well, I don't know. I think we took the mammogram wrong. You're going to have to come back and take another one. Because they're like, we see something. Sometimes it's an error. So let's rule out the error. And then they ruled out the error. And then they went through the biopsy. And then blah, 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 blah. Right. So that could have gone way worse. I mean, had it just been left and not noticed, or not detected or anything like that, could have been a much worse outcome.
Yeah, it's reassuring when your medical people want to be thorough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's only 41, right? Like, no one is expecting that out of someone her age, right? And then, then on top of it, we have really good insurance because she works for the insurance company. So, we have really good insurance. We got covered for that. Olivia's grandparents, my mom and her husband, stayed here with us for 2 weeks. So I could continue to go to work and not have to like use all my time off or miss work. And then feel like I'm trying to catch up with that, which I would have stayed home. But, my mom was an ER charge nurse. So I think she knows a lot more about taking care of people and stuff. And then she was taking Olivia to daycare and, helping do all the chores and taking care of Vicky and stuff while I was off working on the days I have to work. So, we could have not had that support. It could have been a big pain. If we took time off from work, we have vacation time. And a lot of people have to rely on the FMLA, which is Family Medical Leave Act. We actually had to like force something in to pay people a little bit of money while they're gone for surgery, which is crazy. All of the stipulations around that are so bad. You would think that we have an act to pay you while you're out. They only pay you 60% of what you make
of your regular wage. Yeah. Right.
So you're like in a deficit already. You probably have more bills because, arranging rides, different care, extra stuff for your surgery, all this stuff. You get 60%. You have to wait a week. There's a week that you don't get paid at all. There's a waiting week where they just make you not get paid for a week. And it's literally called a waiting week. They're just like, you just have to wait and not get paid for a week. So there's a week where you don't get paid at all. On top of that, if you cash out like vacation time or something, they will deduct the amount of money that they pay you because you had other money come in.
Yeah.
Right. It's just it's a disaster. It's like, welcome to America. Like we had to make the we had to make that compromise to get that level of help for people. That was the compromise. That was the law that ended up getting passed. That's the compromise, right? You're like, what in the fuck, and like I said, we have insurance, so we're not paying an insane amount of money for it. Like, we do have to pay some. It's not free.
But yeah, that assistance that you can get from family and whatnot is definitely worth its weight in paychecks, I guess.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I would have stayed home, but like, I'm just saying that, counting our blessings, like, we're way better off than a lot of people in this situation. So, I'm just very grateful how well things are going. So, and like I said, we've been getting hit with all this stuff, like all this just like bad news. Like the insulation in the Rats in the crawl space, that's another thing. You know, that's going to cost quite a bit. That's going to be like $9,000, probably $10,000, which is money that Vicky and I had put aside to buy new garage doors so that I could finish the fish room. We've talked so much about weather tonight. You kind of get an idea, if I don't have a good garage door, where I'm going to put my fish room, it's going to be a problem, right? So that whole project is on hold until the garage doors can get figured out, because we had the money put aside for it, but now that's got to go to the insulation because that's a primary residence issue.
Yeah. You got to prioritize these things.
So
yeah, what are we doing with 2 grasshoppers in the chat? That's interesting. And
2 grasshoppers.
Yes.
What's going on?
Yeah, Ozzo asking the question not too long ago if that's my young sister. I know it looks that way, Ozzo, but you'd be surprised the age difference. I'm actually the youngest in my family, but I probably look the oldest. I've had the hardest life of all of my siblings.
Oh, it's been so hard.
Worked my body and my grey hair to the bone. But yeah, I'll tell her that, Ozzo, that you said that. She'll be mighty chuffed about that, I should imagine. Unless you were just being sarcastic.
About what?
Ozzo asking if that was my young sister.
Oh, who knows? I don't know. Huawei is saying that they just time them out all the time. I don't know.
Well, Huawei is known as Grasshopper as well, so I have a strange feeling that Grasshopper may have been active in another stream and then came. It doesn't make sense because Huawei Grasshopper, came in saying, "Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a good day, night," and that doesn't sound like Huawei. Huawei.
That does not. That
he doesn't
does
give
not
a stuff about people's welfare.
No, I can't imagine Huawei saying they hope everyone's having a good night. I mean, what are you talking about here? This is ridiculous. Or maybe it's that deep. Maybe it goes that deep that he's got multiple personalities that he types in differently. Yeah, she has Grasshopper as their second account, right? So it could be it. He's a master of disguise, right? Yeah, so I'm kind of pissed off about this garage door situation because, like, I talked about this yesterday. So the room that I'm in right now used to be the garage. Used to be like a single car garage converted into house living space, right? So they took that door that used to be here that was assembled in 1952 and they used it on the part of the garage out there that is an extension. So like the garage that the other people built here is a 3-car garage. So you have a 2-car door and then a 1-car door, right? I don't know if you're familiar. That 1-car door is an old garage door. It's old. And so the one that they put in
a timber panel door, so
it's just wood. It's just wood. So it literally, like, the temperature outside is the temperature inside. That's basically what's up, you know. So I obviously can't have a tropical fish room that's negative 4 degrees Celsius. That's not gonna work
for 3 months of the year.
Yeah. So here's the issue. So the double garage door has to get replaced when I replace the single garage door. So if it was just the one, I could probably just swing it and make it happen. But we have to replace both of those garage doors, the big one and the small one. So it's one of those things where you're just like getting karate chopped right in the crotch, you know, kind of situation right now, because I don't even want to go work on it because I don't know when we're going to be able to pay for that. So it's just like, I don't know. It's depressing. But like I was saying, we keep getting all these, we keep getting these big hits, right? We're just getting this bad information or bad bad news over and over again, but it's working out. So I'm just staying in the mindset of like, it's going to work out. It's just, it'll be fine. I just need to chill. I just need to chill like an Arctic breeze.
If shit didn't keep piling up, how else are you going to learn how to dig?
That's right. I guess that's sage-like advice, my friend.
Someone write that down and put it on a shirt now.
It is after 10 o'clock, which means I got to go to bed because I got work tomorrow. But GRB was asking, how did the tree felling and lumber milling go? So I brought the trees down. We had some issues because the guys didn't cut them what we wanted, but we got that figured out. I cut up all the firewood. I donated it that I wasn't going to cut. We milled. So I had 17 logs from the trees to put on the lumber mill. We milled 8 of them in the whole day that we were here, plus the next day doing milling stuff. So I still have a bunch of logs that need milling. That guy, the guy who owns the lumber mill, his mom is currently passing away. She is quite elderly, so it's not great.
It's not great.
It's not great. It's not good. She is in her late 90s, so it's kind of a.
She had a good run.
Had a good run, yeah. So, but he is the only person that can, like, he doesn't have any brothers or sisters or anything. So he's the one there at the care center, and he's like, he's like, I just don't have time to bring the mill out and mill the other logs. Okay, that's fine. He's a good guy. He will come out and we'll mill the other logs when we can do that. Right now, I got a big stack of lumber. Speaking of getting the weird hits, so I put a temporary carport, and I was stacking the lumber under the temporary carport. Today, the temporary carport collapsed because I had too much snow on it. I had to do that when I got home from work. That was fun.
Fun stuff.
But, yeah, whatever. It just is what it is. It's a cheap carport. What do you want? But so then we got the milling done, and I got a big giant pile of the ground up branches and whatnot. It's, you probably don't know what a yard is, but it's like 12-yard pile, big giant pile, right? And so we're going to use that. We're using that on our flower beds and our raised gardens, garden beds and stuff. So last weekend I had to rent a little excavator you ride on, and was scooping all that and distributing it where it's going. And then I had to grade the driveway. I had to fix where the trees came down. I had to grade all that. So I got all that done. I got a bunch of giant roots out of the ground, roots that are like this big around. I had to like chainsaw through them and then like, rip them up with the bucket of the excavator, right? And so I got those out. I got that done so that I can move my mom and her husband's much bigger RV and park it in the back while they're off gallivanting, because they can't take their RV over the mountain pass to where they normally keep it on the other side of the mountains because blizzards and stuff. It's just, so I got that done.
Sliding
that
down a hill in a car, let alone an RV.
What's that?
I said it's bad enough sliding down a hill in a car, let alone an RV full of all your worldly possessions.
Yeah, so we'll get that parked. We'll get that moved. And we still have the stumps to grind, which was going to be the other portion of the garage door money, because I know how much the garage doors were. If somebody starts a garage door GoFundMe, feel free to set the cap at $7,500, because that's how much it costs for those 2 garage doors. But the other portion was going to be the stump grinder. Have the stump grinder come out, grind down the stumps and all the roots out and everything, so that I can grade all that area nice and flat. But that's on hold until we figure out what we got going here because I got all the roots out of the area. But yeah, regardless, it's all going well. I mean, I hate to say it, it's like all these like projects take forever, but they just take forever. It's just, it's one
Goes
of
with
those
the
things. Like,
territory.
if I could work on them 5, 6, 7 days a week, they would get done faster, but they would also still take time because like I mill the lumber, but the lumber's not going to be dry. It's got to sit and dry, or I have to like load it up on a trailer and take it to a kiln somewhere. But that's just a crazy amount of money. So no real reason to do that. But yeah, it's just a lot of this stuff just takes a real long time. So yeah. But speaking of long time, I got to go to bed.
Rightio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, close it down as well. So you can do your usual piss off before we say goodbye, and then I'll be lumped with all the goodbyes and stuff.
Love it. But man, it's good to see you. Hopefully
You too,
see you
dude.
next week. And do we have anything we're supposed to be watching in the meantime? I didn't watch Wednesday because Vicky watched it while she was sick. And
Yeah, I still haven't watched that either. We could probably attempt it and maybe touch base through the week and see if
I heard
we're
it was
enjoying
really
it.
good. Do we have any new Star Wars out? I haven't checked in a while.
No, I think the next Star Wars we have coming out is the Bad Batch Season 2, either right at the end of the year or early New Year.
All right, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I went back and watched the first season again just to refresh. Lots of good moments in that show. I can't wait to see where that goes.
Lots of good action in there. I wonder where it's going to go. It's not going to end well. I think we know that.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly good assumption to make.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you find something that you want to talk about, shoot me a message and we can watch it.
I'll bug you for sure. All right, buddy.
And yeah, we'll talk before we stream.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
What's up?
No, what's that there? I sent a text out on the
No idea. Stranger Things season 5. Did they even do a season 4 yet? Good reminder in Huawei too. Replay Team 6. It's only a 2 and a bit hour stream today, so it's highly likely that you've made it this far. Well done. Good work. Replay Team 6. Drop a comment if you're a part of Replay Team 6. Smash that like. Tell your grandma to subscribe to my channel because she probably like the cut of my jib or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm going on about. Now I'm confused about Stranger Things, GRB. You've thrown a spanner into the works right at the end. I thought only season 3 was just finished. Anyway, I'm better go and do some stuff to help my sister clean up because she's got to go soon. Got some Lego to clean. I've got a weed that I've got to go and do. I've really been busting for a wee for a little while now, probably since I did the last one. But thanks everyone for watching as usual. It's generally one of the highlights of my week, just sitting here chatting with you mob and taking my mind off the rest of my life and stuff. So I do thank you for that, and I appreciate you all for having some ridiculous, crazy desire to hang out here and just chat amongst ourselves and whatnot, and just enjoy each other's company. I certainly enjoy it. Like I said, it's one of my highlights of the week. Every week I get to do it. Fingers crossed next week we do it all again because we'll probably have nothing else to do. Go and buy a Scunch Princess t-shirt. Go and, donate $10 to a charity that's meaningful to you, and basically just enjoy your life as a human on this planet while we spin to our own wanton self-destruction or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, take it easy. Also, I nearly forgot. Thanks, Huawei and GRB. for being me mods. You guys are great. I love yous both. Ledgers. And we'll, as usual, I suppose, I will see yous when I'm looking at yous.